pick up his third victory in head-to-head play against the Syracuse Orange. Mike Calandra here, ready to bring you the action, and welcome back to Trevor Magnani. He was not here last night because he was down in Maryland, hanging out in Ocean City.
I wish it was Ocean City, but it was down in Laurel Park over at the racetrack over there.
Oh, wow.
Supporting a charity video game marathon called PACE. We raised over $20,000 for the Urban Arts Foundation. It was a fantastic week-long event, but glad to be back in New York and glad to be here at the rinks in Hauppauge here for Seawolves hockey.
Awesome. And Trevor, well, we already talked about one thing, Stony Brook. This was a big weekend for them to get back on the right track. Coming into this weekend, they were dealing with a 4-game losing streak. That has been snapped, but now the big thing for them is getting back in the national rankings, because right now they're currently unranked, sitting at with a record of 3-5-1.
Yeah, this is definitely not the start the Seawolves were expecting this year, and definitely not the one I was expecting after having some good preseason conversations with Coach Garofalo. There are some big hopes for this team this year to go big and to be sitting high in the national ranking. So right now, this is a pretty big head scratcher in unfamiliar territory for a Seawolves team, usually comfortable in national tournament territory.
And speaking of head scratchers, one big head scratcher we saw last night, Matt Minerva, the status unknown for how long he's going to be out. We know that he's not in the lineup for today after sustaining an ugly lower body injury after a nasty collision with Syracuse's Carter Rugg early into the second period as he entered the zone.
I got to watch the replay of that clip, and it was one of those classic situations where the defenseman kind of tries to go for the hit. Minerva's a little bit out of reach, and then their legs got tangled up. And basically, Rugg ends up tripping Minerva. Rugg's leg flies backwards on contact. So you know it's one of those knee on knee or knee on shin or shin on knee type situations, and those are never fun. If you've ever been in one, it's bad news bears for both sides, because you could have a season-ending injury with that kind of contact.
Absolutely, and with Minerva, which is clear as daylight, last year he suffered a similar lower body injury, except he crashed into the end boards, and that's a whole nother story. But as the saying goes in showbiz, next man up.
Show must go on.
Exactly. So Nick Gallo stepping into the lineup, replacing Matt Minerva after he was scratched last night. So he'll look to provide some big energy here for the Seawolves as they aim to complete the sweep against Syracuse. Now, turning our attention to the Syracuse Orange, this is a team that has struggled awfully a lot in head-to-head play against Stony Brook, but we saw a different side of them last night. Anytime Stony Brook jumped up by 2, Syracuse just pulled them right back in.
Well, yeah, listening to the game last night, this is a team that showed no quit. They were in this game all the way to the final buzzer, and Stony Brook has to keep aware that this team is not here to mess around and give up free points, and it's one thing for Stony Brook that they need all the points they can get at this point. So these are two teams that are hungry to make an impact not only on their regional ranking, but on the national ranking as well.
Absolutely. So Syracuse, after last night's loss, they are 6-6-1, but they still command third place in the division, something that Stony Brook is very more than well known to had the luxury of being in many couple of seasons. So this is an unknown territory for them, but we'll have to see how they do when this weekend ends. Warm-ups have concluded, and we'll be back to set the stage right around the corner, right here on Long Island. Stony Brook about to enter the ice as the officials get their pregame warm-up skates in. Head coach Chris Garofalo and assistant coach Hoey watching on from the bench, organizing the equipment for the players that will make their entrance to the ice in just a few moments as this game imminently approaches.
Bit of a late start here for the for both teams here as the lights finally come down here.
And we never get tired of this.
Both teams finally getting onto the ice here as we'll get down to starting lineups, national anthem, and finally puck drop here.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stay starting lines for a game between Syracuse and Syracuse. The stars for Syracuse. Number 11, Jake Montich. Number 23, Ryan Chesner. Number 26, Sam Hutchinson. Number 44, Isaac Arnold. Number 7, Brendan Duffy. And Eagle, number 31, Chris Farrell. And please, your Stony Brook Steamboat! On defense, number 24, Dylan Kowalski. He's the defensive partner. Number 77, Pregame.
Starting lineups out of the way. National anthem up next. We'll take a quick break here on Seawolves Hockey Live.
stick taps, salutes and all, as the two teams stand in front of their benches to listen in to their head coaches strategize one last time before this matchup gets underway. Chris Timmons for the Syracuse Orange and head coach Chris Garofalo for the Stony Brook Seawolves. The battle of the Chris's in the head coaching departments.
Got a full booth up here tonight here between our broadcast. We have WUSB and even the Syracuse radio team up here on the booth tonight. So it's tight quarters up here for us, and it'll be tight quarters on the ice between the Seawolves and the Orange.
Absolutely, Trevor. And let's meet tonight's starters as we saw during the team introductions. For the Syracuse Orange, Christopher Spano, 6'0", 170 from Yonkers, New York. Entering this matchup with a 2-1 record, 3.67 goals against average, while Matvey Kazakov takes over the reins in goal over Scott Barnico as Stony Brook attempts to complete the sweep. This matchup is underway, and it begins with jousting through center ice before Arnold takes off in the zone with a chance save Kazakov, who holds up.
The Orange strike first here in the shots on goal department. Kazakov grabs that one, tucks it away for safety here, and we'll face it off to the right of him.
Isaac Arnold flying right out of the gate, similar to last night in the third period in which he scored a goal. And there he is awaiting for the possession in the shadows. Save again by Kazakov. Dangerous release coming off the draw from Arnold, and Kazakov was ready for it. Hutchinson tried to get by Anastasio to no avail. Anastasio able to connect with Kormanek. William Kormanek pushes this one ahead, trying to get it to himself. Has some help alongside of him, courtesy of Kozicki. Meanwhile, Syracuse pushes back the other way. Hutchinson driving in hard on the backhand save. Kazakov couldn't put it out. A second chance in front as Anastasio fights off the attack down low. Syracuse still defending against Stony Brook, as Stony Brook is able to force it out of harm's way. They'll go for a line change as the Orange plug right back in with Arnold leading the charge once again.
Yeah, quite an explosive first period. It started off slow, but quickly snowballed into quite the goal-scoring period at the end as we ended the first, what was it, 3-2?
Yes, indeed. Two of those goals cashed in by Matt Minerva, who we alluded to at the top of the broadcast, not being in the lineup tonight due to injury. And somewhere around the boards, watching on his team as they try to get the job done today. Kazakov, yet another save registered by him. And Syracuse letting Stony Brook, or not letting Stony Brook reset carefully. And here they are, putting the pressure again on the Seawolves. Nick Gallo back in the lineup, in for Matt Minerva as he tries to make an impact in this matchup. Nakagawa trying to lean in and take over. He gets knocked down to the ice as it gets shoveled in front of the net. Gallo couldn't spike that one on in front. Syracuse again with the possession.
I did actually get a chance to talk to Coach Garofalo at one of the Junior Islander games. He was doing his usual scouting rounds. A lot of good things to say about that freshman line.
Well, that chance couldn't be put there in front. And you mentioned that freshman line has paid off many dividends this season, with Nakagawa most notably, who scored last night and collected an assist. As this one gets punched in deep, Trezera leads it over to Fess, Brendan Fess, as Stony Brook tries to break out of their zone here. Look at them work the puck around inside the zone. Fess, Zarilli couldn't punch it forward as Data comes into the mix to try to help out. Zarilli down low, trying to set something up, feeds it back to the point. Fess, Zarilli, or Pepe, turnaround shot, save made by Spano, and play is stopped.
Stony Brook finally on the board in the shots on goal department with that long-range shot from Fess.
And so Devin Pepe takes his position on the draw on the wing alongside co-captain Nick Zarilli. able to win it, kick it back to Fest, chipping it on net, save Spano. Duffy able to bank it ahead to Arnold. Arnold has help ahead with Hutchinson. Arnold races over to the far wall to try to get a hold of the possession. Stony Brook covers up some ground, but Syracuse has the possession in their zone. Pepe and Zerilli trying to do their part at stealing the possession back from Syracuse, which they do. Valenti takes a hit along the boards as Oaks starts it back up for Syracuse. Duffy angles it ahead, missing the reaching stick of Hutchinson. And Stony Brook, Mateo Data hit heavily into the boards there. At center ice comes Liebold, hot into the action with De Palma, but Syracuse puts a stop to it. Von Tersch with Arnold, walking in with a chance, and this gets deflected high into the mesh and out of play.
A little over 3.5 into the first period. Stony Brook only 2 shots on goal so far, but they're doing a good job of starting to slow down the Syracuse offense, preventing them from getting set up in their zone, and they're doing well with their D-zone coverage as well.
Jack Wren set to take the draw against Jesse Edwards.
Looks like some discussions happening over at the scorekeeper's table. So nothing too crazy.
Wren wins it back, and that gets blocked in front. Friendly fire, actually, as Wren took the worst of it. There's another chance, just missing wide again. Oaks pushing it down low, not doing much there. Edwards able to backhand it out of harm's way, or so I thought, as Syracuse kept it in the zone. Wren with Cook, continuing to put pressure on the Seawolves. Stony Brook able to take away the possession. More battling near the half wall as Stony Brook moves up ahead through center. Liebold tosses this one in deep with ferocity as he goes right after, who was that, Chesner. Smacked into the boards. Trezera moves into a new location, able to keep it in the zone, but there's going to be a penalty here, and it's against Syracuse, who touches up the puck, and Stony Brook will head to the power play.
Well, the questioning heads here on the Syracuse side as to what the penalty was.
Slashing 2 minutes against Jacob Von Tersch from Laverne, Minnesota. Stony Brook 2 for 3 last night on the power play. Let's see how they do here. They cashed in immediately last night in their first go-around. And here they are working at the top. Town, Boris positioned at the back end with Kozicki, Data, and Pepe controlling the front end. Pepe, one-timer, Town! Save made in the glove of Spano.
And of course, this power play brought to you by Stony Brook Orthopedic Associates.
Yes. And Mateo Data set to take the draw again, trying to make it back-to-back games with goals for the Seawolves. Oh, nice play there. Town eluding his man. Boris gives it back to Town, feeds it over to Pepe. Pepe has to settle in control here. Finds Town again. Town looking, firing. Shoulder save, Spano. Town picks up his own rebound. It's pushed into the boards. Data helping him out, plopping it over to the near wall. Boris, Data in close proximity of each other. Data observing. Town, save again, similar to the last attempt, and Spano was able to shrug that one off. Kozicki twists it back to Town. Town from the top, can't pull the trigger and time that for that attempt, and getting leveled in the corner was Data. And Syracuse with the clear.
A lot of good opportunities so far for Stony because they turned around quick.
Town couldn't rumble his way through the defense that time, and he'll retreat to the bench as Syracuse tries to work it out of the zone. Pinned up against the boards. More jostling happening between the Orange and the Seawolves. Another phased clear by Stony Brook.
Time winding down on the penalty.
Larson, one-timer, blocked at the top by Applegate, and it leads to a possession for Cook. Racing in the other way, no, he'll kill off time. Instead of going through center, he plays it back before Stony Brook races back in their zone to start it up again. An unsuccessful trip to the power play for the Seawolves, who try to break out the other way. Here they come, back in the zone. And able to catch up to them was Syracuse as Arnold and company try to steal it back away from the Seawolves. Check from behind there, laid by Duffy. And here's William Cormanick dangling in, shooting it wide, and Duffy will touch it up. And just after the power play expired, Stony Brook gets another crack at it immediately.
And looks like Duffy is going to go for boarding, as that check was a little bit late. One of the points of emphasis we've seen in the NCAA rulebook, which the ACHA follows, along with some of the other leagues that I cover, is these late checks, especially ones that are going out and going for defenseless players or any of those. Referees are taking a bit of a stronger stance on this year.
And this is a race for the loose puck. Kazakov playing way outside of his net, chipping that one to center. Can't connect with Data. Data, though, a workhorse on the ice, almost stealing it away. Kazakov gets it back, plays it off the stick.
And Kazakov is almost looking to play it up the ice again.
Drawing some inspiration from his fellow countrymen Igor Shesterkin or Ilya Sorokin, perhaps. Offsides is called, that time against Data.
I think Kazicki actually jumped the line. That was just a little too early into the zone.
One thing that you have to give credit to Stony Brook is normally, especially for a hit like that, it's thrown, they would normally respond to immediately and turn a power play opportunity to a 4-on-4. You got to give them credit for not losing their composure and just really keeping an eye on what's more important to them.
And I think if there's a place for that, it's a barn down in Lynchburg.
Don't get me started with that. That's a whole nother story. As this one is wheeled around the wall, Syracuse trying to cycle the other way. Applegate can't connect with the streaking Mahoney, who scored a goal last night for the Orange. And once again, Stony Brook down to under a minute of power play time. This is their second trip to the man advantage. First time around unsuccessful. Here they are working up ahead. Grant Ermelini back in the lineup after missing in action last night. Nakagawa at Gallo. The freshman trio, this dangerous faction, which you alluded to before, Trevor, on the ice. Trying to work some magic. Nakagawa across. Oh, it's score! William Cormanick finally cracks the score sheets, and he wants to crack some heads for good measure.
Maybe not, but he took some offense to the push after the goal there. But that's hard work. That's picking through the defense. It's the gritty type of goal you want to see out of a line like this.
I have to choose my words wisely, Trevor. Sorry about that. But Cormanick does finally pick up a goal after returning to the lineup last night. His first game since opening night. He was a healthy scratch, going through some injury woes, but here he is, healthy and all.
Welcome back to the ice.
So Stony Brook breaks the ice first for the second day in a row. Oof! Running into trouble there, De Palma.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect this Syracuse team to take it lying down. They're going to fight for every inch.
Arnold's Hutchinson. Arnold's fighting way in front, score! Duffy answers right back with his third goal of the weekend. And Syracuse ties it up at 1.
And just like that, a new game arises. I hope you brought your popcorn, folks, and hope the edge of your seat isn't worn out from last night, because I think we're in for more of the same. could tell you the front edge of my car seat is worse for wear after last night's game.
Nick Zerilli, Clark, and meet at center. Trezera backhands this one up ahead, in deep to chase Zerilli. Trezera mixing it up as well as Syracuse pushes back the other way. In comes Cook. Cook slamming on the brakes. Spinning this one down low to Larkin. Larkin couldn't twist that one back to the point in time. Zerilli and Data try to work through center once again. Data hustling hard, but the icing is called before Data can get there first. And this puts Stony Brook in a perilous position right now as they can't go for a line change. And a bigger advantage for Syracuse. They got some tired boys out there, tired Seawolves, and that is.
Syracuse, the full sail change here to the left of Kazakov.
Egren on the ice as well, looking to show up on the points sheet for this weekend. Hasn't yet, but there he is right there. Applegate takes a hit along the wall. Mahoney, nice play at the top, able to keep it alive barely at the blue line, as it finally gets cleared out by Stony Brook, who gets it right back.
Good glove there to prevent that from going deep.
Boris, ooh, that is at first I thought the referee had his arm up in the air, and now they do for something else that occurred in the other end.
Stony Brook's going to go for the retaliation.
Oof. Things are getting absolutely heated as Nick Zerilli had some words skating by the Syracuse bench. So the tone reaching new levels. And Nick Zerilli has to be careful here.
I mean, in fairness, it was a bit of a blindsided check that Pepe's taken the referee to task on here, asking, "Hey, what's the deal, man?"
That was my first reaction. Immediately.
And he probably is asking too, "Hey, why aren't you taking both of them there?" They were both punching and jawing at each other, but unfortunately, the appeal, as always, unsuccessful.
So 2 minutes on the board against Nick Zerilli, and Stony Brook will have to kill off this penalty. Syracuse only able to find the back of the net on the power play once this weekend out of their 4 power play attempts. Now here's number 5 on the islands here in November of 2023. Chesner's able to extract himself from the pressure given to him by Edwards, and the save made by Kazakov.
Kazakov making that one look easy as he flashes the leather.
So Stony Brook relying on some of their veteranship on the ice to keep this game from being 2-1 Syracuse, with Pepe and Edwards defending the zone. One-timer from the far side. Fanned on there. Chesner, another crack at it at the top. Edgren looking, controlling, peels away from Pepe. Edgren again, across Chesner, one-timer, right into the glove of Kazakov, who holds up.
Kazakov get the opportunity to flash the leather. It just helps him build some much-needed confidence to build him towards the second and third period.
This will bring out Jack Wren. Arnold normally playing up front is positioned at the defense position, and this is cleared immediately by the Seawolves. Arnold takes chase. He has a non-rushing Frank Anastasio on his tail, trying to steal it from him. Arnold able to get away from Anastasio. He's able to get through Gallo before being put to a hold momentarily as Syracuse continues to put pressure on the Seawolves. Anastasio with a big clear, and it leads to Gallo rushing in first, getting there in the corner. Gallo pinned up against the boards by Cook. It's 3-on-1 there in that picture against Gallo, as Wren skates right around in the zone. Von Tersch keeping it alive at the top. Arnold through a screen, and a save again is made by Kazakov, who holds up.
I think they would have had a couple deflections on the way over to Kazakov, but saw it all the way. 10-8 shots on goal here as we are down to 8:20 to go in the first period. 30 seconds to go on the penalty.
And Applegates, Evan Applegates, that is, on the draw here. And Pepe taking that one for a spin out of the zone. Puck, that is. Here comes Syracuse, right back in on the attack. Hutchinson trying to juke and fake out everyone, takes it back to, deals it back to the point. Chesner over to Hutchinson, fires wide of the nets. Chesner controlling the bouncing puck at the top. Syracuse working down low again. That one takes a dangerous bounce in front before it's cleared away by Stony Brook, and the power play expires, but not before icing is called.
A cheeky icing call there from the officials, playing it by the book on that one. Penalty expired and then the puck was dumped, so icing it is.
Stony Brook just asking for a break.
I don't think they're getting one today.
Come on, cut me some slack. That's all they're thinking.
At least I know they're not getting anything from Rubino, that's for sure.
You know more to the story than me. 7.5 to go here in the first.
You call enough games, you get to know how the referees are going to call the game.
I'm going to keep my opinions to myself and let you have it, Trevor. Here's a chance in front, wheeled wide off the stick of Cook as Anastasio harasses him, and putting pressure on was Edwards. Another chance, lifted in front as Anastasio got dumped to the ice at the top. Larson playing rough in the end boards with his man. Up ahead, William Cormanek fighting off attackers. Look at him dipping and diving, getting through pressure, drawing the penalty.
I was going to say, we got at least a couple hooks in that one, so.
And they get Larkin.
Larkin will go for water skiing.
What a gracious display of elegance and.
Sorry, it's going to be Brown going for hooking.
Okay. So Jake Brown in the box for 2 minutes. William Cormanek, a gracious display of elegance and strength as he almost got through everyone.
Impressive.
Yeah.
The amount of the stick force he had to navigate to get to the net there.
Oh, absolutely. An immediate clear by the Syracuse Orange. The second power play, or the third power play of the period for Stony Brook. Brought to you by Stony Brook Orthopedic Associates. Gallo almost punching that one home on the backhand as he fed it back to the point. Again, Cormanek fires. That one gets a piece of Spano. Gallo lost it to Nakagawa. Nakagawa, Larson at the top to help out. Feeds it over to Nakagawa. Nakagawa trying to step into one. Cormanek controlling, looking. Down low, Nakagawa. Deals it over to Gallo. High slot, Ermelini blocked, rebound, over the net it goes, but it stays in the zone. Cormanek back to the point again. Gallo with a lane, Gallo delays, Gallo, Cormanek. Oh, that one-touch feed back to Larson couldn't go. Good play by Syracuse to come up with the clear. Well, look at Kazakov with the sauce, but it's intercepted by Edgren, who rushes in with a chance to go in wide.
Yeah, Mancini went down hard in the Syracuse zone. He's laboring getting over the boards.
Or was that Nakagawa? Whichever one it was.
Sorry, Nakagawa, you're correct.
All good, all good. Whoever it was, and Nakagawa was the player. We'll have to keep an eye out on him as Edgren and Syracuse jump right back on the attack once again with another chance kick save. Kazakov.
That one went right into the slot there dangerously.
Edgren was on the far wing ready, awaiting the rebound. Kozicki moves right back in with a lane. Here he comes, missing. Had the chance there. Town sidesteps. Town again. Data creating havoc in front. Kozicki in the corner, swings it back to the point. Boris. Kozicki continuing to work the puck around the zone. Town had the lane to fire it, but he chose to feed it over to Pepe, who controls it along the wall. Back to Town through traffic, and the deflection in front was Data. And Syracuse can exhale as they kill off yet another penalty.
Syracuse definitely has to be cognizant of what their sticks are doing on the ice here. They're getting nailed with a lot of penalties here that are very avoidable.
Under 5 to go here in the first. De Palma trying to dip and dive through traffic to no avail. Liebold getting the fortuitous bounce, score! Thomas Liebold! And more mayhem after the goal as De Palma rushes over to step up for his teammate.
And that was kind of what we saw last night too. Syracuse taking some post-goal penalties. And what you don't want to be doing that.
Almost replicating the goal by Brendan Fess, as Fess scored in similar fashion when the puck was bouncing all over the place in front of the net, and this time it's Thomas Liebold who gets the luxury of cashing in on the goal to make it 2-1 late in the first.
Coach Garofalo here wanting an explanation as to why there wasn't a penalty called there, and I'm with them there. There should have been one, maybe two.
So Liebold
can't go give him a face wash after a goal.
with the response, and Stony Brook reclaiming the lead. This one is punched off the glass up ahead. De Palma couldn't get there in time. Hutchinson takes a bump from Edwards entering the zone. Has help from behind. Arnold with the trigger pull. Couldn't get it to go, and it's cleared away by Stony Brook for icing.
Stony Brook now has to survive the assault of Syracuse and not let another one up here. They let one up pretty quickly after they scored the first goal, and hopefully Stony Brook is able to weather this storm here and exit the period with a lead.
Now, if Stony Brook scores again and Syracuse answers right back, then we might be in familiar territory, Trevor, as we saw last night.
They did end the period with 2 quick goals here. We'll see if that is. We'll see a mirrored situation here tonight.
Liebold, oof! Delivering the hammer as usual as Nakagawa gets it back in front, almost connecting with Liebold that time. Kowalski plays it back down low, or tried to Nakagawa. Kowalski couldn't keep it in the zone. The chase is on between Arnold and Fess. Fess controlling carefully before getting it over to Kowalski. Those two play catch in the back end. And this one gets away from Stony Brook momentarily. Nakagawa has to bump off of Arnold before Syracuse gets it back. Arnold, high slot chance, missing wide of the net. Nakagawa with a huge loft out of the zone before Grant Ermelini takes over. Grant Ermelini, full steam ahead, backhands it wide. Gallo, back to the point, Kowalski, over it goes. Valenti firing, saves Spano, and play is stopped.
And that evens up the shots here at 13. And Stony Brook weathering the storm so far. It's good to see Nakagawa after taking a stinger off the ankle or foot that he's back up and going.
Frank Anastasio has been showing his demeanor throughout the weekend. Haven't seen him on home ice in this type of fashion. And one-time score! Teddy Valenti!
With an absolute howitzer from the point.
3-1 Seawolves.
A message on the bench had to be keep the gas pedal pinned to the floor, as the Stony Brook Seawolves have kept their momentum going after putting their second goal in.
One half of the Cougar Crazies strikes for Stony Brook. SJB alumni Teddy Valenti again with Frank Anastasio, another SJB alumni on the ice, getting Stony Brook another big goal. Anastasio all up in the face of one of the Syracuse players. It's Kozicki. picks himself up from the ice. Edgren and the orange walk in, save Kazakov, rebound. Oh! Kazakov, 2 denials on in that one sequence.
Matvei Kazakov, coast to coast here on the posts. Able to get over and stop that opportunity.
So really being worked ferociously by Syracuse, and now he gives it right back to the orange. Syracuse able to steal it away. More jostling happening. And Pepe, or pardon me, that was really taking a trip, but he's back up on his feet, throwing the hit against Wren. Stony Brook can't execute the other way. Good interception by Wren. Back in the zone, firing save. Kazakov again, another big chance negated by Matvei.
Okay. Kazakov coming up absolutely big here in the first period to keep this 2-goal lead.
Jack Wren with the feisty wrister as he wins it back. That one gets blocked off the draw. Mateo Data has it again. He'll skate up ahead through center or plop it in deep. Finding Pepe. Oh!
Pepe was nowhere near the puck and just takes a huge hit.
The captain demolished in the corner, and
he looked shaken up there after that one.
yeah, he was definitely woozy getting up from the rubble there.
And I'm not wrong there. I wasn't misseeing that. That puck was behind the Syracuse defenseman, and then Pepe got rocked, right? I want to make sure my eyes are working. So I've been up for 14 hours. So.
No, your eyes are correct. You corrected, yes. Your answer is correct. This one got banked wide by Ermelini. Town throws it in front, almost picked up off the body of Nakagawa. Final minute of play has been reached in the first. An awfully physical first period. More battling happening in front between Nakagawa and one of the Syracuse players. Syracuse trying to get through center, unhinged there, or without any damage. Stony Brook not letting them a single inch of space. As Wren tussles his man to the ice, and that's going to result in another penalty and maybe more. Here we go at center ice. Mayhem between the Syracuse Orange and Stony Brook Seawolves.
We're going to see a couple folks go here to the bench. I see a bunch of hand waving. I think Gallo's definitely going.
Yep. Jack Wren,
I think you're going to see I think we're going to see a Syracuse power play at the end of this.
I think so. Just based on the
third
third man in with Nick Gallo.
You should have the holding on Nakagawa.
Yes.
You should have the original hook, and then you're going to have the cross check.
Yes.
That's how I saw it. What we're going to actually see here might be something else.
Unless there's an extra punch or two thrown in that
That's
skirmish.
the thing. It's a cross check that happened on the Stony Brook side.
Mm-hmm.
You cross check the guy off your guy. Okay, like it wasn't a fight. There wasn't any fisticuffs. It was a grapple.
Yeah.
So it's going to be should be an easy one for the refs to untangle.
Oh yes.
But if we know anything from the history of hockey here at the Rinks and Hop Hog, nothing is always that simple.
There's no guarantees on Long Island.
So it looks like, the referees are going over to Nakagawa to escort him over to the box.
And that's not going to sit well with head coach Chris Garofalo. Oh,
but it's,
man.
like I said, remember what I said. I told you.
Yes.
Syracuse is going to have the power play after this because Nakagawa was holding the stick.
Yes.
That's what caused the initial incident. Mm-hmm. Was he intentionally holding it? Probably not, because he got tangled up.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're getting lifted and shoved to the ice,
yes,
the last thing you're thinking about is, why is this happening? You just want it to stop.
So unlucky 13s for both Syracuse and Stony Brook, but even worse for Stony Brook.
Too big of an untangle here.
Nick Gallo had he not responded on behalf of his teammate, then this would be 4-on-4 at most, or even 5-on-5, however you put it, for offsetting.
Yeah, you'd be probably right. Probably would be 4-side, but referees waited too long to blow the whistle on it, and the players had to jump in and employ their own form of justice.
It was only a matter of time before things became unglued, as last night showed how Syracuse felt with the way things went, falling to Stony Brook 7-6 by 1 goal. No handshakes at the end of the game.
Well, you're not going to shake hands at the end of the game in a 2-game series.
No?
No. Typically, it is traditional you'll shake hands at the end of the series, not at the end of the first game.
Oh, okay. So I stand corrected. I thought there might be just some bad blood in the water.
Most certainly these guys don't like each other right now, that's for sure, but that's right now.
Syracuse working at the top on the power play once again. Save Kazakov, and no shenanigans post-whistle this time around.
Keep it clean here with 2.8 seconds to go. Otherwise, a very tight period.
Oh, yes.
The scoreline may say 3-1, but the game feels a lot closer than that.
Hutchinson can't spin it over in front, and that does it for one. 3-1 Stony Brook leads after 20 minutes of play. Trevor, first impressions on how this team performs?
Stony Brook definitely is meeting the challenge of Syracuse's physical play. The Syracuse Orange has come out heavy hitting. They're not afraid to back to run into the corner. They're not afraid to take the body, and they are not going to give up. And they've shown that time and time again. It doesn't matter what the score is; they are going to keep fighting. And Stony Brook has to be ready to meet that challenge throughout the rest of this game.
Now, if you're Stony Brook, what do you do in order to prevent what happened last night? They're sitting comfortably right now, 3-1, but as we know, 3-1 is a dreaded number in any sport, whatever you name. You don't want to be up 3-1.
The score even more dangerous is the 3-goal lead. And while we're not there yet, I think Stony Brook is very well aware that they need to keep their foot pinned to the ground, much like we're going to keep this break pinned to the ground, and we'll be back in about 12 minutes here for the start of the second period. You're watching Stony Brook Hockey on YouTube.
At Stony Brook Medicine, our gastroenterologists perform a groundbreaking procedure that restores the ability to eat, so Kevin can enjoy dining out again. Our kidney transplant team has one of the fastest transplant rates in the nation, so Pat can spend time doing what she loves. Our skilled surgeons perform robotic-assisted surgery for colon cancer, so Chris can get back to reeling them in sooner. Leading the way to make your life stronger. We are Stony Brook Medicine. All we do is all for you.
We welcome you back to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Calandra, Trevor Magnani here. Second period about to get set. Stony Brook up 3-1, and they trail 2 behind in shots on goal to Syracuse, but what matters most is the numbers that stand on the board, and Stony Brook has 3 of those against Syracuse. But right now they have a task at hand, killing off the rest of this penalty that was handed to Nick Gallo in the aftermath of that scuffle at center ice.
Indeed. But Stony Brook has shown some resiliency on the PK today and is able to shut down Syracuse so far. And clean ice, it might be a different story, but it's the challenge Stony Brook will face as they face it off here at center ice.
The lone goal scorer lined up alongside Joe Trezera in the neutral zone. On the left wing, Brendan Duffy picking up right where he left off last night. 3 goals this season. He was scoreless entering the weekend. And now he's scored more than any of his teammates in this road stand against Stony Brook. Here's another chance from the top, missing wide of Kazakov. Hutchinson and company trying to deliver the latest blow to the Seawolves as Duffy gets harassed down low by Trezera. Back it goes, saved at the top by Chesner. Hutchinson trying to peel away from Trezera. Trezera doing a good job there at creating pressure against him. Duffy working it back down low. Smushed up against the glass by Trezera, and a good clear by Stony Brook as Syracuse couldn't keep it alive in the zone. And another big clear for good measure by Joe Trezera. He gets Bess and himself off the ice. Healthy legs on the attack for Stony Brook. Meanwhile, Duffy and company move right back into familiar territory. Brendan Duffy. Edgren. Wait, man, the trailer save made by Kazakov against Vasilevsky. Syracuse down to 24 seconds of power play time.
A bit of a slow start here for Syracuse on the power play. That offside situation there definitely cost them a solid 30, 35 seconds.
This will bring out one half of the Cook brothers taking the draw here, and it's one back, but inadvertently takes Syracuse out of zone contention with them starting in their back ends. Mahoney gets by. Here's Cook again, leading the cavalry. Vasilevsky spiked it wide. Had a good look, but miscalculated on the trigger pull. And another miscalculation for Syracuse, and they got to race all the way back in their own end to pick it up. Stony Brook not letting off the gas. Valenti almost got that one through traffic. Another chance, Cormanek couldn't spin that one on goal. Kozicki again smashes his man against the ice, or onto the ice at least. Now he's in the midst of a heavy battle, swinging aggressively, tried to connect with Valenti, but inadvertently pushed him all the way out of the zone, where Valenti has to recollect. Kozicki, a bank up to Anastasio. Frank Anastasio. Help coming from Leibold. Anastasio trying to shield off his man. Kozicki, one-timer, couldn't go. Leibold again from the top through traffic, just missing on the deflection was Kozicki. Another chance, Anastasio rolling around in front and is held up by Spano.
Spano cleaning that puck up there. It was drifting towards the back door, closing the door on an excellent scoring opportunity from the Seawolves. And looks like we have some issues here over at the score table. Maybe some players jumped the box a little early. Looks like everything's okay.
And just how it did at the start of the game, the only people that remain in the box are the healthy backup netminders for each of these squads.
They extended the benches here at the rinks in Hauppauge, but unfortunately the goaltenders still can't fit on the bench.
Data across the score! Jesse Edwards with a nifty tap in home to make it 4-1.
And Edwards just gets enough wood on it to tap that one past the netminder. Spano, no chance of getting that one. Already made the lunge move, but it wasn't far enough.
Mateo Data with the setup. And it's a 3-goal cushion for Stony Brook.
You can see a little bit of frustration here over on the Syracuse side as they're not finding the solutions as quickly as they were yesterday.
Now this is the part where Stony Brook can't let off the gas and be complacent. As we saw last night, they're up 5-2 at one point in the second period, and Syracuse knocked down all of those barriers to keep it so close all the way till the end. Trezera looking again. Far side chance, Nakagawa after the deflection off a leg in front.
Nakagawa getting hooked here and maybe doing a little bit of holding himself.
Edwards, who came into this head-to-head weekend with 9 assists in head-to-head play against Syracuse, collecting a big goal for his team here on Sunday. Nakagawa rushing in again with Ermelini. Late minute trail Gallo. Save made amidst all the traffic positioned in front. And Gallo searching for the possession once again. Almost connecting with Nakagawa. Edgren can't connect with the leading man, Hutchinson. Or pardon me, that was Oakes. Syracuse switching up the lines, caught at center as Stony Brook is able to fire it back in deep. Nakagawa and Leibold crushes Oakes. But at what cost as Syracuse moves right back in the zone. Save, Kazakov, rebound, score! The Orange get one back again. It's Jack Wren.
And Kazakov a little out of position there. Not covering the net there as that puck was shot at a pretty off angle and just was nowhere to be found.
Where have I seen this narrative before? And it's back down to a 2-goal game for Stony Brook as Jack Wren puts one in the back of the nets for his 3rd goal of the season. William Cormanek trying to bounce back with a chance save made. Rebound, another opportunity, bouncing in front. No one able to put it home that time. And Syracuse knocks it out of play. Off the ceiling.
Up into the rafters, and we'll face this one off to the right side of the Syracuse netminder. Definitely a bit of a confusing sequence there for the Seawolves. Hard to really put words to describe it other than just a lapse of defensive judgment from all sides.
Cormanek on the tie-up. Syracuse trying to navigate through center. Here they come, dangling in. Hutchinson, Kazakov with a swipe at that one. And here's Kozicki trying to be led ahead. He's going to race in and get there first. No icing. He'll take it on a journey, or so I thought. See, he tried to lay it back over to Cormanek. Wasn't there in time as Anastasio tries to handle business down low. Kozicki meets him behind the goal. Now Cormanek moves into a new location in pursuit of the possession. Kozicki has it, backhands it back to Valenti. Valenti. An innocent collision between him and Sam Hutchinson at the top, but the disruption happened down low between William Cormanek and Duffy, and Cormanek is being sent to the box.
I think Duffy's on his way to the box too. I saw the referee point both of them.
Offsetting Miners to 2 goal scorers.
I think they're having some conversation. Maybe they're planning dinner later. You got the matinee game, so plenty of time. Everything's going to be open still. Official conference here at center ice, trying to determine where the faceoff should be. Going to be 4 aside here.
And this is where Stony Brook could have been back in that sequence late in the first, in which Gallo responded, helping his teammates. But it cost Stony Brook go into the penalty kill. Here's Grant Ermelini, backhand try. Can't stuff it home that time.
I won't hold Gallo. It's a penalty, yes, but that's one I would take any day.
Oh, of course. Got to stick up for your teammates. And here, Syracuse is trying to make amends after falling behind at one point 4-1. They cut the lead back down to 2. And here they come working back in front. Another chance, couldn't go for Edgren. And another opportunity, swipe and a miss, but left alone in front, save Kazakov on Applegate.
Kazakov with 3 good saves there.
Through center goes Ermelini and Stony Brook. Ermelini getting by 1. Gallo picking it up down low, looking for Ermelini. He's got to move into a new location. Sets it aside to Gallo. Gallo, wraparound chance, turnaround try, missing wide. Justin Nakagawa recollecting. Plays it back to Owen Larson. Larson scored last night his 2nd goal of the season. Justin Nakagawa springing ahead, slamming on the brakes, juking a fake and a save, score! Oh, baby! Justin Nakagawa, 1 for the highlight reel.
He had so much time and so much space that he stopped, stick-handled the puck, shot the puck, picked the rebound up, and put it in the basket. Incredible.
You know more about me about this kid with all the talks you've had with
Absolutely
Chris Garofalo. Before the season began, one of the many Junior Islander products that this team has
And more importantly,
picked up in the offseason.
he picks the puck up behind the net, cycles it back, sets up the give and go in the defensive zone, and then just has his way with the Syracuse defense.
Brown launching that one on net. Kazakov almost letting that one go, and will lead to another draw here. But yes, to add to your point, Justin Nakagawa, man.
Bravo.
Oh, yes.
Take your ovation.
Absolutely. The amount of conditioning that requires, too, to go from one length of the ice to the other. Not to mention, stopping on a dime.
Oh, that was
tremendous.
That play started with him at the blue line skating into the defensive zone. That's a full back and forth effort.
Absolutely. End-to-end beauty for Justin Nakagawa. He collects his 2nd goal of the weekend. Kozicki charging up ahead, down the wing, stopping short, looking for a man open down low. Edwards, Kormanek, again, trying to set something up. Kozicki, pad save Spano. 5-2. Similar narrative to last night. Valenti at the top with a lane, firing over the nets. Had a diving Wren trying to take it from him. Stony Brook recollecting at center. Valenti can't connect up ahead, but Stony Brook nevertheless pushes it in deep once again.
Starting to see some desperation plays here from Syracuse to tip the scales back to neutral.
Valenti banking it off the boards. Stony Brook having a little bit of trouble breaking out through center. Kormanek off to the bench. Fresh legs on the ice. One of them by the name of Thomas Liebold.
Looks like both teams are trying to get some lingering changes done.
Joe Trezera getting by almost everyone. And Syracuse on top of it. Here's Mahoney galloping. Edgren wide, rebound off the boards. Doesn't get the friendly bounce that time. That was Mahoney on the far wing that couldn't get the friendly bounce. He's still in pursuit of the possession as Fess plays it to the far wall, looking for Owen Larson. Mahoney flipping it to the far side, back over to, I believe that's Edgren. Yes, Edgren, not Vasilevsky. More jousting near the blue line. Owen Larson taps this one off the boards and out of harm's way. Applegate smushed up against the boards by Fess. Trezera over to Larson again. Stony Brook finding themselves with pressure on their shoulders for the time being, but here they are moving through center. Thomas Liebold leading the hunt again, but Syracuse with another takeaway. Here's Soltz leading the charge. Ooh, Thomas Liebold trying to take out his man. Owen Larson banking ahead, looking for, whoa! And Thomas Liebold got hammered from behind, and now we're gonna have more shenanigans post after the whistle.
And for those of you saying, oh, that's not a penalty, well, read the rule book, it is.
Oh.
But you can't check a player from behind, even if the player actually presents his back. Still can't do it.
And Chesner, the culprits.
Way back in the day, that wouldn't be a penalty. That would be a too bad, so sad.
Too bad, so sad. We got Dr. Seuss beside me.
The check from behind gives Stony Brook yet another power play, brought to you by Stony Brook Orthopedic Associates.
And here's Nick Gallo and company trying to make amends with Liebold. One could say probably heated, but probably glad because his team gets rewarded with the power play. Here they are working in front, score! Kormanek, pair of goals, and it's 6-2.
I almost feel the air being let out of the Syracuse balloon.
First 2 goals on the season, and only his 3rd game of the year for William Kormanek.
Coach Garofalo said it was good to get Kormanek back in the lineup. Big missing piece for the Seawolves, and just goes to show how much they've been missing that effort.
Especially since he was the player dating back to last season that was groomed to be the next man in line to lead this team to new heights, especially with all the players that recently graduated from a couple seasons ago.
Stony Brook's got to keep their head on a swivel here. Syracuse is coming out with heavy checking.
It's going to start to get nasty, that is for sure. Edwards, Data. One of the players careening towards the net. I think that was Kowalski. Now he's got to quickly back check in a hurry, get back in position as Arnold throws it in front. Save Kazakov. Syracuse at the top, working in the zone. Hutchinson takes another hit. Oh, this one skittered off a leg in front. Duffy, save Kazakov.
That one took a bounce off the referee to go straight into the slot.
Oakes, around the wall it goes. Egren keeping it under his control before Syracuse works it back to the top. Oakes holding the line, deflection in front, multiple chances nullified. Arnold keeps it under control for Syracuse. Again, the Orange, another opportunity missing. Another chance negated by Kazakov. Oakes can't get by, but Syracuse continues to work in the zone. Another chance trickling off a body in front. The Orange hustling over. Another chance, backhand try missing wide for Mahoney, who keeps it alive in the zone once again.
Stony Brook here needs to be careful. They got to get it clear, and they're trying to avoid taking a penalty to do it.
Seawolves in a precarious position. Oh! Timothy Mahoney laying the boom in the corner. Oh! Motsbay Kazakov with a stretch pad save.
Kazakov with a defenseman's stick now.
Another chance missing wide. And trying to get a read of whose stick is that? Another chance!
Valenti's stick.
Another save by Motsbay Kazakov.
Kazakov with a sigh of relief after that sequence. That was minutes of sustained pressure in the Seawolves zone. Kazakov made 4 or 5 incredible saves in that sequence. The Seawolves defense managed to keep things mostly to the outside and keeping those chances as low percentage as possible.
Even with one of their players who took a massive hit in the corner. And Kazakov was all on top of everything. Wren, ooh! Watch out there. Could have ended ugly in the corner. Stony Brook, though, able to evade Carnage for the time being as De Palma gets right back on the possession. This one is backhanded up ahead. Fest at center, banks it ahead to De Palma. De Palma shakes his way by. De Palma loses control of it momentarily. Trezera at the top through traffic, blocked in front by De Palma. Another chance smacked wide. And Syracuse able to hold Stony Brook at bay for now as they try to climb back from a huge deficit here. First time this weekend they've trailed by more than 3 goals. The hits continue to get louder and bigger as the seconds trend on. With this one getting plopped out of the zone, Owen Larson. Kozicki with Anastasio. In front, oh! William Cormanick drove Chesner into Spano, taking the net off its moorings.
Might have been some incidental contact. Both kind of driving together and things let up and face-off will come outside the zone.
And I'm looking at the Syracuse bench. Chris Timmons, not in a hurry to make a switching goal as he elects to keep Chris Spano in nets for the time being, despite his team trailing by 4. Anastasio able to smack it back the other way. In pursuit of the possession once again, Anastasio working his man against the boards as Syracuse moves through center once again. Hutchinson, around he goes in front, save Kazakov. Penalty coming here.
Sunrick's going to go for interference or roughing.
I saw one player cross-check. I don't know if it was Anastasio or Kozicki. I think we'll get our answer here. Anastasio, hands up to his head, wondering why. And it's
Kozicki here.
Yes.
He knows what he did.
Cross-checking.
Two minutes for cross-checking. The 14:31 mark.
Syracuse getting a much-needed break here, Trevor. Go back to the power play after giving up significant amount of goals to Stony Brook.
Well, it'll be familiar territory as they were just on what looked like a power play, pinning the Seawolves in the zone.
Stony Brook.
And that goes out.
It's been perfect on the penalty kill so far. Here is the defense for Syracuse. Jacob Bontersch and Vasilowski, the winger, with Cook. Feeding it back to Bontersch. Bontersch, Cook in the high slot. Bontersch again. That one couldn't be played carefully that time, and Trezera comes up with a big clear.
Cesaro working through the sticks of the Orange to get that puck out. And the Orange are just keeping 2 forwards pinned on the blue line.
Jack Wren, heavy amount of speed, and he got the shot off. Almost coming up with the rebound. Duffy before it's cleared again by Stony Brook. Moving in quickly. Chesner slamming on the brakes. Duffy deals it back to the point, but can't connect with Hutchinson in time. And Gallo reading it perfectly, feeding Frank Anastasio. Score! He scores to make it 7-2.
And he had a feeling something might have been giving as Syracuse was getting a little sloppy on the blue line, and Stony Brook was looking for an opportunity to punch something through, and they found it. I said the air came out of the balloon earlier. It's almost deflated now.
I would say it's already popped, imploded, disintegrated. Bits and pieces scattered all over the floor, if you may say, as Stony Brook
might be a little
continues to
dramatic.
add to the board. Frank Anastasio, another fellow SJB alumni, picking up his first goal wearing a Stony Brook uniform at home. He joined the program late last season after a brief playing career with Newman College, and here he is back in familiar territory where he scored almost more than 50 goals during his high school playing career at one point. And there he is on the bench watching on as his team sits comfortably in the lead. And not to mention, it was a shorthanded goal for Anastasio. Syracuse working it back to the high slot, another block. Nick Cirilli losing his stick. But he didn't lose his man, and that helped Stony Brook's cause to keep Syracuse at bay. Valenti firing it after the whistle, and
offside.
yes.
One downside to the bench layout here at the rinks and many youth hockey rinks is those penalty boxes push the player benches so far into the zone that getting those changes becomes very difficult to do in the second period.
Yes.
Because half your bench is literally in the offensive zone.
I know, right? This one gets chipped in deep. Syracuse trying to chase it down as Stony Brook protects the zone once again. Limiting Syracuse to 2 goals so far today. But they're going to go back to the penalty kill because of that. Joe Trezera doesn't think so, but
Trezera's trying to say something that the Syracuse player kind of let up on that, but the referee's not buying it.
not sure if I would buy it either. So Stony Brook back to the penalty kill. Trezera will sit for 2. Shots on goal, 26-25 Syracuse. Oddly enough, because they trail by 5 to Stony Brook. Vasilevsky. Mahoney curling away from Larson. Vasilevsky has it. Bontersh. Vasilevsky. Quick puck movement here. Multiple chances to no avail for Syracuse. Wren, Vasilevsky. Bontersh twisting away from pressure. Another chance, another block there. And
I don't know about that. I'm surprised I don't see 2 arms raised after that one. Got a player down. You take your stick and cross-check him on the ice.
Now that's just frustration.
Yeah, frustration. It's a penalty.
Yes, that's frustrating. Well, Obviously, he was going to get a penalty, but
And Rubino's going to do the right thing and make the call.
yes.
Or not. Maybe not. Maybe just guiding the injured Seawolf off the ice.
Okay, so no penalty called.
As De Palma there, definitely nursing some upper body injury there.
Mahoney. What's it? To the near, tried to flip it over to Wren, and another clear is made for Stony Brook. Vasilevsky circling around the cage. Wren through center. Cook backhands it in deep. Mahoney. Oof. Obviously, that was not by intent, or at least Brendan Fest thinks it was. He took a stick up high, and he's showing his frustration.
Yeah. They're not getting any calls.
And
at this
here we
point.
go again. Nick Zarilli.
Referees are starting to lose control of this game, and it's a shame. Zarilli happily skating over to the penalty box, defending his teammate there. As him and Wren will both sit for 2 for roughing.
Yes.
Fess still trying to get a word with the referee, saying, hey, what about the stick? But if you think this one's going to end peacefully tonight.
And you guessed wrong.
Hey, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
In my eyes, when it happened, the initial play with Fess, to my eyes, it looked just like hard battling. I do not think there was any intent on.
Intent or not, if the stick comes up and clips
That
the
is
player,
true.
it's a
Yes,
penalty.
that is true.
You got to remember, intent is
That is true.
intent only matters in the severity of the penalty,
Absolutely.
not whether it is or not. Yeah, skate around with my stick hanging above my head and I accidentally knock somebody in the head with it. I didn't intend a high stick. It
That's
just
true,
happened.
yes. Duh, yeah.
5-on-4 will skate here at center ice.
Evidently, this game is getting out of hand in both emotions and on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Chesner can't keep it in the zone. Jesse Edwards took him down, and he takes the possession for good measure, and he takes out the goalie, but
Takes
no.
out the post there.
Oof.
And that is...
Fortunately for Chris Spano, he avoided disaster.
Spano avoids disaster, but Edwards is going to took his shoulder straight into that post there. That does not feel good.
And he is up and okay. It's a round of applause by the crowd here.
And see some street justice in the future of this game, that's for sure.
Yep.
Thankfully, the posts here at the rinks are famously not well mounted. So they do pop off. They're like a table in wrestling, designed to break in half.
Well, don't tell any Buffalo Bills fans that. They'll be all on top of it.
Well, the Bills Mafia will go through a table whether or not it's cut or not.
Chance in front, save Kazakov. And another clear made. That does it for the Stony Brook penalty kill, as Zarilli and Wren watch on from the box. Half a minute to go in the second. Hutchinson controlling, deals it back to the point. Couldn't be handled cleanly by Chesner, leading to another odd man break here. Kormanek, Kozicki, Kormanek scores. Hat trick, William Kormanek. Jubilation for the Seawolves.
No hats on the ice, but A lot of people trying to signal to throw some hats on the ice. And 8-2 we skate here, and it is the time has come. Syracuse has seen enough.
And in my opinion, it was long overdue. Once the goal barrage intensified.
That's 8 goals on 27 shots.
Wow.
That is, there's rough days in the office, and then there's really rough days in the office, and today was the latter.
Buzzer sounds signaling the end of 2, and Stony Brook unloading on Syracuse with an offensive barrage. They lead it 8-2 heading to the third.
And one of the things that you want to really look at stat-wise that's wild is the shots on goal are dead even at 28-29 now, as we get some final corrections in on the period.
Now 30-28.
30-28 now. Let's see if we got anything else here we're waiting to add on, but 30-28. Syracuse leads in the shots on goal department and only able to find the backside of the Seawolves net twice. And the Seawolves have made an absolute day of finding the back of the net. 8 goals on 28 shots. It's you got some questions to ask if you're the Syracuse defense. You're trying to find a new latex balloon to fill up to get the team to come out and respond. But it's a tough situation to be in when game one you're back and forth with this Seawolves team. Right there next to them, scoring back and forth. You're able to overcome huge adversity after adversity. And then today, it's just not working. Nothing is working. And you got to try to finish the game strong, try to close the goal gap up as much as you can. ACHA, obviously, 2 ranking systems use a 1 goal differential, one uses a 7. And you want to try to close up that, try not to let that go to 7 goals. It's a tough situation, though.
And this helps Stony Brook's cause to get back into the rankings. When
two big wins here against Syracuse.
Being third place in the division, holding a better record over Stony Brook.
Right. It's going to, more importantly for the ESCHL rankings, or the ESCHL standings, I should say.
Yes.
Because it's not a ranking, it's a standing. It will help Stony Brook considerably getting 2 wins this weekend. But we'll take a timeout here. In about 12 minutes, we'll be back here with the third period here on Stony Brook Hockey on YouTube.
At Stony Brook Medicine, our gastroenterologists perform a groundbreaking procedure that restores the ability to eat so Kevin can enjoy dining out again. Our kidney transplant team has one of the fastest transplant rates in the nation, so Pat can spend time doing what she loves. Our skilled surgeons perform robotic-assisted surgery for colon cancer, so Chris can get back to reeling them in sooner. Leading the way to make your life stronger. We are Stony Brook Medicine. All we do is all for you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this matchup. Syracuse had a whole lot of trouble back in the second period as the score shows 8-2 Stony Brook. Stony Brook just absolutely unloading on the offense, and a little too late for Chris Timmons as he made the goaltending switch after the 8th goal scored by Stony Brook. And now for Syracuse, they just want to get through the next 20 minutes, but we know frustration has already set in their mind.
Easier said than done.
So
we'll drop the puck and get on with the third period.
We could see plenty of mad whistle moments. Score!
Cormack finds the back of the net with absolute ease.
4 scores for Cormack.
Cormack now is just stat padding. But that was a beauty.
And we can't blame Cormack for stat padding.
No.
He's been out for a lengthy amount of time, and
this is stretching his legs.
Forget warm-ups. This is his warm-up.
Yeah, last night was the warm-up.
And icing is called. And shots are even 30 apiece. That does not matter for Stony Brook, as they're
up by 7 here.
They already got Syracuse right where it matters most.
Definitely the message in the locker room for both teams had to be, all right, guys, it's a mountain to climb. We're going to try our best here to do what we can, but we don't want to leave the rinks here with anything that's going to linger.
Entering this weekend's head-to-head matchup, Stony Brook outscored Syracuse 48-9 in head-to-head play, dating back to October 1st of 2021. So this perhaps was bound to happen just by how these two teams went up against each other in those past seasons. Stony Brook getting the best of the Orange in all of those battles, and Frank Anastasio, newly joined in the program. He made the jump over to the Seawolves late last season. Now part of that history of goal scorers against Syracuse for Stony Brook. There's Kowalski moving down low. Anastasio and Teddy Valenti.
Stony Brook happy to just pass the puck around in the offensive zone. Not too worried about throwing everything at the net, but they're putting the full press on Syracuse as that one goes into the ceiling.
If that isn't a perfect way to describe how this day has gone for Syracuse, I don't know what is.
Twice in this game where they've just had to kind of sky it up into the ceiling to get a change.
One gets banked to the near wall, but doesn't make its way out until now. Arnold's going to feather this one further into the zone against Kowalski. Physicality slowing down just a bit.
You can definitely say it's slowed down a lot. Syracuse is a lot softer on the puck now.
The motivation has dried out for the Orange, perhaps. Unless something stirs them up.
Well, they're going to need a spark to get anything going here, and Stony Brook has just been smothering the puck in there in all zones.
They may not climb back from this mountain, but there could be something that motivates them to get physical awfully again.
Well, like I said, I think the message in the locker room is we don't want anything to linger here, as in no DQs, no misconducts.
I think at this point, because the game is out of reach, at what cost does that do for you?
Well, that's the thing is when it comes to these types of games, it's damage mitigation.
Yes.
You want to try to see what you can get, and you want to try to not let it get any more out of hand. But
you can't allow yourselves to lose a player for the next game.
Right, that's
taking their frustration out.
That's the key. Is you want to get out of this game as cleanly as you can. And the Seals have been on that side of the equation as well, and it's
absolutely.
It's a long season. It's not a quick one. So every game that you're available counts. So
regular season spanning from October to mid-February before divisional playoffs kick into high gear in March. Our version of March Madness. As Syracuse twists this one on goal, couldn't get much done there. Boris banks it to the near walls, really couldn't get a touch on that one. And he's going to get it back, feed it ahead to Boris. Spencer Boris leaning in, keeping it under his control. Chance there, and save made by, I believe that is Finta, now in goal. Actually, no, Cagnon in net. And Data with the shot attempt back to the bench. As Syracuse plays it out of the zone. Stony Brook's Trezera able to kick it over to Wiebold, who sends it in deep on the backhands. Syracuse trying to break out of the zone here. Vess raced for the big hit. Solt may have laid off there. But this was a lot closer. I think Solt would have went right through Fess, but this...
It would have been a new rink ad.
Oh, yes. Fess down low, looking for another goal this weekend. Can't jam it home, and then he's going to get plowed to the ice for good measure for that late poke.
Yeah, that's a well-deserved check. You go in, you make the poke on the goaltender, you're going in expecting you're going to get hit.
Yes.
I think we're going to... Are we going to see anything? No, I think we're just going to let this one go.
Yep.
Had a good conversation with a referee about why they don't make certain penalty calls, and sometimes what they say is it's about keeping control of the pace of the game.
Yeah.
If you get the game bogged down in penalties, sometimes you make things worse. So I think that was a good pace decision here. You tell the guys, all right, guys, knock it off and
Kowalski
move on.
Anastasio pushed to the ice. As he continues to create havoc in front of the net. Now he moves into the corner, trying to get it back. Valenti took a hit along the wall. As Syracuse tries to break out of the zone again, Hutchinson leading ahead. Arnold across, can't connect with Duffy in time. Kormanek with 4 goals under his belt today. Sean Cato rips it in deep. Kazakov with a touch on that before Town sends it back over to his defensive partner, Kowalski. Moving back in the zone. Kozicki saved Cagnon. Here comes Chesner, getting by Gallo. Chesner trying to pull the puck on a string here, running into traffic. Able to get it back, keep it under his control. Stony Brook able to get through center. Ermelini taking the big hit. Able to brace for it, stay on his feet. Gallo missing the chance. And again, Syracuse, Wren slowly chips this in deep as he took a hit there from Town. Kazakov playing out of his crease. That one couldn't make its way far into the zone by Von Tersch. And again, Gallo having to shield from a few Syracuse players. Gets back into the zone. Nick Gallo to the goal, backhands it off the outside of the iron. A wicked attempt there for Nick Gallo. And Syracuse again slowly smashing it back in the zone. Ermelini leads it ahead. Justin Nakagawa
That's in.
scores. And the Seawolves have hit double digits on this Sunday afternoon, Sunday early evening.
And Nakagawa there, just business casual, put that one in the net.
The beat goes on for Stony Brook.
Now leading in the shots on goal department, 34-32.
Here's Trezera dumping this one off the boards out of the zone. Seawolves outscoring Syracuse by 9 this weekend. Or by 8 this weekend, 9 this weekend. Data. Horace taps it in front. Couldn't get it on goal there. Edwards. So really pinching in over to the near wall. Edwards with a shove there. Horace coming into the mix, laying the shoulder into the grill of his man.
This is a 4-on-1.
Look out, scouts. Larkin. Syracuse can't convert there.
No conversion, no goal, no shot.
Edwards can't get by Chesner. It allows Oakes to connect up ahead with Applegates. Applegates takes a bump there as Kazakov plays it to the near side. Oof. Oh, wow. Similar to last night, a defenseman for Stony Brook gets it up high. And this time it's Dylan Kowalski, who is down in a heap after taking a puck up to the cage.
Yeah, that was... The trainer's going to get out to the ice here and take a look. And thankfully, the players use full masks here.
Full masks, or in this case for Kowalski, he's got the fishbowl. Unless the puck got underneath him and helped up to his feet. He'll be further attended to in the Stony Brook
Looks
locker
like he
room.
was able to get off pretty nicely there and kind of pound the door in frustration as he's heading off to the locker room to get looked at.
Last night we saw in the dying seconds Joe Trezera put his body on the line, taking a shot up high. And perhaps that was the biggest block of the night. Syracuse getting that last chance, almost tying it up before the buzzer sounded.
This is a chance here for good heads-up play there for the Seawolves to get Kazakov his stick back.
That one fired wide. An aggressive shot by Edgren. The frustration continuing to show for Syracuse. Here's Leibold. One of the many Stony Brook goal scorers today. Vest almost angling it across to De Palma.
Stony Brook just has to be careful here. They're getting a little too hungry for goals, and they're leaving defense on the backside of their brain right now, as there's a good opportunity there for Syracuse to break into the zone. They let up the 4-on-1 earlier, so that's one of the things that's got to be on the forefront of Syracuse's mind is, hey, if we break up a Seawolves offensive opportunity, we can have a chance at one here.
Absolutely. Syracuse again in the zone, but not able to execute right off the draw, as they have struggled to cook up a goal-scoring recipe here in the third period.
Stony Brook here just looking to keep the clock moving.
Duffy. I believe that was a save there by Kazakov.
Yeah, Kazakov was able to corral that one. We'll stop play here with 9:50 to go in the third period. Syracuse back ahead in shots, but unfortunately far behind in the goal department. I will say it's been a very well-behaved third period thus far on both sides.
Arnold's rushing in. Oh, man! Isaac Arnold got drilled into the post, and luckily he got up immediately.
A little bit of a replay of what happened in the second period as the Seawolf suffered a similar fate. Face-off won by Syracuse, and they're going to dump it deep.
Duffy behind the goal.
A nifty little flick of Duffy's stick by his teammate gets it back in his hands.
There's Arnold slamming on the brakes. Back to the point, one-timer, glove save Kazakov, and
here we go.
Not much done there. Spencer Boris knocking the stick out of Duffy's hand, who got it back.
Duffy might want to invest in some stickum.
And yes, William Kormanek also having a few words with one of the Syracuse players, holding up 4 fingers. And we should know clearly what he was talking about. Grant Ermelini being sprung ahead. No icing called as Nakagawa was able to get there first, and this one couldn't be pushed on by Gallo. Ermelini feathers this one in deep. Missing the high-rising glove hand to Nakagawa as Oakes tries to trek out of his zone. Here he comes through center. Oakes across. Shot from a tough distance. Save Kazakov, and he holds up. 8.5 remaining. And the next time we'll be here on the islands will be December 2nd when Stony Brook clashes with the Delaware Blue Hens for a December weekend affair. So Saturday, December 2nd, or Saturday, December 2nd, 8:30 p.m. and Sunday, December 3rd at 3:30 p.m. right here on YouTube. Here's a chance in front, and that was stopped by Matvey Kazakov on Vasilevsky.
Yeah, he squeezed the pads and hoped for the best there. He looked behind him to see if the puck got behind him. But for Kazakov's sake there, that's save number 38 on the night.
Next week, Stony Brook heads up to Pittsburgh to take on the Panthers.
That'll be an important series.
A very important series for them. And maybe this was just the weekend that they needed to go on a big winning streak and get them back in the national rankings.
Early season wins are very important because it kind of sets the pace and the weighting of your team throughout the year.
Absolutely.
So the earlier you get your wins in, the more weight they can have later on. But also, too, if you beat good opponents, they could shake up the rankings and completely upend them.
Not to take away how Syracuse performed today, but this season they have performed very well. So for Stony Brook, this is a big win against a good opponent. Yes, they've got the best of them over the years, but the way how Syracuse has performed from the get-go early this season, it's been otherwise. A good showing by them. Their record will change to 6-7-1 when this one comes to a close. As for Stony Brook, they will improve to 4-5-1. Here's Von Tersch entering the zone again. A quick flip over to Larkin. Larkin able to jab it in deep, but Syracuse gives it up back to Stony Brook, and Boris plays it softly ahead to Trezera, leading the charge with Liebold. Had Fest coming in the trailer, being held off. And Liebold with a steal in front. Fest shut down there by Cagnon. Fest knocked in deep to the corner as Boris controls it. Boris for a tough angle, missing wide. Trezera at the top. Another chance, lost in between his skates. Another opportunity, swallowed up. And again, another skirmish, but it doesn't break out into anything more than just that.
A little bit of grappling, and then everybody lets go because they know that this one, there's nothing left to fight for on this one.
Yes, absolutely. And
kind of a bit of a weird situation to be in, that we basically played a period of hockey where both teams know there's not really much to fight for. We're just kind of, I hate to say that we're just going through the motions, but
just trying to get through. And for Syracuse, one could say they're just strategizing for what's to come ahead.
Yeah. I think it's a good opportunity to get some of your other players out on the ice, to get a good experience against a good opponent.
Nice nifty play in front, but it couldn't make its way across for Edgren. Backpedaling, Larkin. Pardon me, that was Mahoney. Oakes. Oakes again taps it in front. Mahoney grabs it along the side of the net, taking it behind the goal to the circle, and he had Edgren with the one-timer.
Kazakov needs to stick him in his gloves, because he's lost his stick at least 3 times today.
And at one point, he had another player's stick.
It's usually the standard operating procedure. Defenseman sees his goalie's lost his stick, you hand the stick to the goalie. Forward sees a defenseman without a stick, you give the stick to the defenseman.
Syracuse working again at the top. Glove save, Kazakov.
And then, of course, the third part of that is if you can pick the goalie's stick up and hand it to him, you do it.
Now, does that also apply to picking up an opponent's stick? Say an opponent loses their stick, but the goalie also doesn't have a stick. Can you take the opponent's stick?
No.
No.
You're not allowed to do that. That's,
okay.
They would technically flag you for holding the stick.
Oh, my. Oh, that's no fun.
Oh, dangerous play out front.
Yeah. Here's Duffy with the steal. An eventful weekend for him, collecting 3 goals in this head-to-head affair against Stony Brook. Ooh! Valenti and Duffy meeting up again. Duffy and Valenti still engaging in the zone. Nice kick play there to keep it in the zone by Von Tersch. Arnold in front, Duffy. Fans on the attempt, the rebound. Hutchinson sent it wide. A surprise for Syracuse is Sam Hutchinson held to 0 goals. And it's a big surprise because Hutchinson has been the team leading goals getter for Syracuse the past 2 seasons. But right now, none against Stony Brook. And Kazakov gets a piece of that one as well. Duffy can't get it in front in time. Hutchinson, another save by Kazakov. Kozicki lays it in softly, retreats to the bench alongside Anastasio, and this will bring back out that dangerous freshman trio, or as we call them, the triplets. Gallo, Ermelini, Nakagawa.
I can tell you they're going to want to put another one in.
It must be that freshman fever. And there's Gallo. Goal hang.
Offside by a few feet.
Yes.
We'll bring that one back.
I know for Gallo, he is loving every moment of this matchup. Playing alongside these freshmen, building on that chemistry, because before Minerva got hurt, this was Minerva's line, and perhaps if Minerva didn't get hurt, Gallo wouldn't have gotten this opportunity. And now, with the way this trio has played, it could be something that Coach Garofalo continues to utilize going forward. This might not be just temporary. This could be a permanent thing going forward now, especially when you build on the future. These kids are freshmen, have a lot of years left under their belts. Backhand try stopped by Cagnon, who holds up.
Cagnon is just waiting for this one to be over, and only 2:46 to go.
Data scored in last night's contest. Hasn't scored yet in this one. The damage in more ways already done, as this chance is swallowed up in the glove of Kazakov, and there'll be nothing more after that. Shots on goal, 44-38, Syracuse. Stony Brook up 10-2. Right off the draw as that shot goes into the mesh and out of play, and we'll do it again. Back it goes. Von Tersch. Larkin shut down there. May have gotten a piece of Kazakov. Von Tersch again. This one deflected out of the way by Trezera. And again, it's cleared out by Stony Brook, but Syracuse returns the favor. Valenti, another smash out of the zone. And back it goes. The puck continuing the pinball between both of these teams. And there's Edwards scooting by pressure. Jesse Edwards getting through everyone, almost putting that one in front to Zarilli. Syracuse chipping it out of the zone carefully. Trezera, a minute and a half to go. Now the question looms. Was this weekend the beginning of a long stretch of victories for Stony Brook?
Well, they have a tough weekend ahead of them, and I don't think nothing is guaranteed for this Seawolves team. And even this weekend, game one wasn't a guarantee. It was a hard-fought battle.
Who knows if that hard-fought battle tired out the Syracuse Orange.
They may have, but it's a team that, when they are on, they're a team full of battle, and that's one thing to take away from this weekend for the Syracuse Oranges. Is until it seems like they ran out of gas, but while they were still fueled up, they were going toe-to-toe with the Seawolves.
Absolutely, as Gagnon holds up that one in his glove. Shots 46-40 now. They continue to accumulate.
It's a nice even number to do the statistic of 1 in every 4 Seawolves shots resulted in a goal at this point.
Crazy to think. Oof. Teddy Valente with a soccer kick, and he took the worst of that.
Yeah, we're under a minute now.
In front, Egrin. Scored. Matthew Mahoney grabs his second goal of the weekend. And the deficit cut down to 7.
And unfortunately, still 7 for the Syracuse Orange, as that is the max deficit that the ACHA will recognize.
This will surely be a big blow to Syracuse.
I don't know if it will be.
10-3?
I mean, it's a tough loss for sure, but you can definitely look back at this weekend and say, Game 1, we played really well.
Yes.
Game 2, we got outplayed, and especially in the defensive zone.
Of course.
But you go back, you do your film review, and you learn from your mistakes. You see where your holes are, and you move on. As we'll move on today here as the Seawolves take this one 10-3, close out the weekend 2-0.
Stony Brook back to their winning ways as they complete the weekend sweep over the Syracuse Orange. Last night's victorious by 1 goal. Tonight, victory 10-3 with a 4-goal performance by William Kormanek, and most importantly, Matvey Kazakov, 3-0 in his career in head-to-head play against the Orange. Handshakes, positive pleasantries cap off this cool, frigid evening as we'll wrap things up, close things out, and gear up for the next time when we come to town, which is December 2nd, when Stony Brook will be back in action on the islands as they go on the road to Pittsburgh next weekend. So for now, we'll wish you a happy Thanksgiving, happy Veterans Day, and the holidays just ramping up ever so quickly. Mike Calandra, Trevor Magnani, any last words?
That's it as we let the Seawolves salute the fans here from the rinks in Hauppauge. We'll see you on December 2nd for another weekend of Seawolves hockey. And we'll see you later.